putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Every time there's a mass shooting in America, the left, it's easy to predict what they're going to say and what they're going to do, as it is to know that the sun's going to rise in the east and set in the west. They're going to blame the guns. They don't care about the motivation. They say without the guns, it couldn't have happened. And it doesn't matter that we proved that wrong. Okay, 26 people died this time, whatever number in Vegas. You know, the biggest killings in terms of these mass killings, particularly those by Muslims, have been done by vehicles, trucks. In the case of New York, it wasn't as big as it was, right? Because there were only 8 people killed and 12 who were wounded. But I want you to imagine if this guy had rented that truck and he had waited for the New York City Marathon, and then he committed his act. He killed bicyclers, and he got quite a few, given that, you know, that's not the biggest crowd he could have attracted. But imagine if he'd rented that truck on the day of the New York City Marathon, or any marathon, Boston Marathon, or celebration of the lighting of the Christmas tree, or anything else going on in New York, and he decided he was going to run over pedestrians. How many people could he have killed in a Home Depot truck? I had to rent one of those trucks to get some furniture. They're not huge, but they're not little. What if he'd rented an even bigger truck? So you get what I'm saying? This is not about guns. This is about radicalization, things that we had no way of stopping, no matter what. If his goal was to kill, he's going to kill. That's true of many Americans, and that's why we should be looking at what is creating the radicalization. Why did Dylan Roof go in and kill a bunch of black folks in South Carolina? Why did this latest killer, Kelly, go in and kill a bunch of Christians in a church in San Antonio? Why did the Las Vegas shooter, Stephen Paddock, decide he was going to target country and Western people he believed to be Christian conservatives? Why did he do that? Why is it that some Muslim comes in and he decides to mow down a bunch of infidels in New York? Why did a Muslim decide to mow down a bunch of gays at Pulse nightclub in Miami? And on and on. Shouldn't we be looking at the motivations versus the weapons? Let me tell you something. If a man took a machete, I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas, but if he took a machete into New York during the lighting of the Christmas tree or anything at Rockefeller Center, you know how many people he'd kill before the cops could get to him? Dozens. And he can go get that machete at any Home Depot or Lowe's right now. I've got 3 machetes. I'm not going to hurt anybody with them. Unless trees count, you know, trimming bushes and stuff. But that's why I have them. But I'm just telling you, don't talk to me about the weapon. Why is it that the left never wants to accept, but for the record, I want to talk about my machetes. My neighbor had bamboo. He grew bamboo, and he used it as a sound barrier between the other neighbor. Before I lived in the house next to him, he didn't want to see him, and because they were, you know, stupid. So he was like, I grew bamboo, you know, and it grew tall, and I didn't have to hear him, I didn't have to see him. And so when we became neighbors, he goes, no, man, we're cool. I like y'all. So we decided to cut down the bamboo, which for the record is a job you would not believe. It's a hard job. So we cut down the bamboo. I cut it down because he's an older man, older black dude. I'm chopping down this bamboo, and I'm telling you, I know why the Vietnamese used it for traps. Because when you cut down bamboo at an angle, it creates a very dangerous. If you fall in it, you're dead. And I would have to jump over the fence to get there after I would chop down this forest. What I know about bamboo now is I will never plant it. It is a weed you do not want in your yard. It may look beautiful, but it's tough to get away from. But that's why I had the machetes, just so everybody's clear. But I want to go back to these killers and this radicalization that's occurring that everybody's ignoring on the left because they want to focus on weapons. You know, ban trucks. I tell you what we should do. We should ban Muslims renting trucks. there would be nobody who could argue that that's a sound policy to at least consider. Kevin, that sounds so racist. It sounds like you're profiling. And I am profiling. White folks, black folks, a typical American is not going out renting. When I rented my truck from Home Depot, I had no malice in mind. I had to go pick up furniture that I could not get in my car. The furniture company said, it'll cost you $150 for us to deliver. I said, shoot, I'll go get a Home Depot truck for $20 and maybe $35, with the time, all the other stuff. I'll regas it. I'm going to go down there. I shot up to Home Depot, rented a truck, went to the furniture store, got the furniture, dropped it off at my house, and $37 later, truck was back. Saved myself $113. That's the way I looked at it. I did not think all along the way, as I saw a bunch of white kids riding bikes and a bunch of people in other little cars and stuff, infidels, and I didn't think for 1 second to run into an infidel because I didn't want to have to pay extra on that truck. That truck was safe with this black man, and Home Depot knew it. Look, who's to blame for this? Leftists are. They are proud to tell you that Muslims come to America to be radicalized. They are too sick to admit that Muslims are already radical when they get here. They want us to take on the burden. They want you to believe that you are the bad guy in radicalizing Muslims. They also want you to believe that America is so bad that sometimes even our own citizens want to go fight for ISIS. That's what they want you to believe. They don't want to tell you, you know what? Anybody that would leave this country to go hang out with those goat humpers is insane. Because that's what they are. Did you see the story? I saw it in the UK Examiner. Some white dude from Wisconsin, some Pillsbury Doughboy looking white dude went to ISIS and they used him as a sex slave. Surprise, surprise. Toughen up, dude. Toughen up, buttercup. Because I don't care. And look, what about these girls that leave? Oh, I'm going to go and we're going to help ISIS and I want to be a jihadi bride. And then they go to become a jihadi bride and find out that they treat them like broads. Yeah. Pass them around from warrior to warrior. They cry to come home. Why would you tell me the allure? And what's funny, the left says this. The left will go, yeah, the jihadis have a very sophisticated recruitment system on the internet. And yada, yada. I'm like, what? Come be with the unwashed? Yeah, I tell you what, the recruitment system for us should be, see this homeless man? He smells better than any jihadi you're ever going to meet. Do you want to have sex with him, young girls? Because you will be forced to be with him versus choosing. Hey, young men, if you want to go fight the war in Afghanistan on behalf of ISIS, go look at a homeless guy, put a rifle in his hand, and figure out, how be begging for food. Oh, and by the way, you can never leave. They'll kill you if you try to escape. I mean, what are you telling me? It's alluring to go over there. That to me is so crazy that it drives me insane that people even try to sell that idea and people buy it. People, oh, well, they do have conservatives repeating this nonsense back to me. Well, Kevin, ISIS is very sophisticated on the internet. Really? They're more sophisticated than we are. Let me tell you what, I'd run an ad that says, here's a girl at college, hanging out with her friends at a bar, meeting young men, studying in class, preparing for her wedding and all that. And here's a chick that's hanging out with ISIS. And I'd show all the guys, I wouldn't be graphic about it, but I'd say, yeah, let's just see what her life is like, sitting in a cave with, a bunch of guys waiting their turn to be with her. Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous that you want to try to convince me that ISIS has a better recruitment plan than we do in life. Live like a pig or live free. Your choice. And we get caught up in stuff. Leftism. They're the radicals. It didn't start with Barack Obama, but only a moron would argue that Obama didn't put radicalization on steroids. He brought these foreign and domestic radicals. Well, the ones he brought in, and the other ones he created. Antifa, BLM. Those are people that came up because of Obama. Occupy Wall Street. The left owns all of this. How many of these crimes did we deal with pre-2000? 35 Muslim attacks worldwide in the 90s, and now in the year 2000, we get 2,000 attacks a year, whether we like it or not. And they want to know who to blame.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.